If you've got back pain or sciatica or disc injury that's causing those in the lumbar spine, there is literally no disadvantage, I would say, of having inversion tables, providing, of course, that you're using the thing correctly, right? If you're being silly on that and you're not following good instructions, then that's a separate case. But as long as you're using your inversion table, going to that sort of angle to that sort of angle, not going into complete inversion, and you're using it regularly, a couple of times, maybe a day in the early days, and then maybe daily to a couple of times a week over the course of the long term, and obviously scaling that up, right? If you're doing a lot of, if say you're really far on your rehab to build back up the strength in your back, and you're doing squats and hip hinges and you're doing it with a reasonable amount of weight, it's completely reasonable to finish that session, when you get home, go on the inversion table. If you've had a long hard slog at work and you've got some extended duration of sitting in the office for an extended period, you need to make more time to do that more regularly. So you're using the inversion table as a mechanism for offsetting the strain of daily life and maybe the strain of exercises. For example, an elite sports person will have more massage based work, more care of self stuff, because they're demanding more of their body. And if you're doing that of your back, then it stands to reason. If you're like the average person in the UK spending 9.5 hours a day sitting and you've got a back injury, is it unreasonable to suggest that opposing that excessive compression through the spine through something like regular safe use of the inversion tables would be a bad thing? Of course it's not. It's going to be a great thing. So as a general rule, as long as you're not silly with them and start doing inverted sit-ups and that sort of rubbish, I think using them for circus tricks, I think it's actually going to be a really valuable tool. The only difficulty is you don't want to waste money on it, right? You use it for a couple of weeks and then it goes in the garage and doesn't get used again. You've got to use them regularly and have the space to use them, and I would strongly suggest get a good brand. If you're going to shell out some money, you may as well spend the right amount of money, because there's that phrase, you pay cheap, pay twice. Don't do that with inversion tables or something that's got to have you hanging upside down. So I think just a general rule, we don't get paid by them, but the teeter tables, because we use them and we've reviewed them, and my own family members use them. If it's good enough for them, it's going to be good enough for you guys, right? And we wouldn't want to recommend anything that I'm not comfortable using myself, or someone that is in my family using it. So that's what we do with all of this advice as well, all of these comments, all these feedback on these questions. We try and give you guys the honest truth of our perspective of that, and it's always got that test of would you recommend your mum do it? And if it's good enough for her, then it's going to be a recommendation or a consideration for you guys too. So hopefully that helps, and any questions, any comments, post them below.